Hey family, welcome back to my channel. It's Gabrielle here with some commentary on what everybody else is talking about. And that is Love and Marriage Huntsville and of course Funky Dineva and what he had to say about Melody Shari. Now, a few days ago, um, Maurice took to social media. He took to YouTube, and he did his form of what I guess he considers an award show that nobody really asked for. And so I thought that I was the only one feeling that way, but it seems as though all of you all felt that way. He could have kept it because it was not something that was. It looks as though it wasn't planned out. He did not consult with Funky Dineva, the person with whom he named the prestigious awards after. And so, in a nutshell, he gave out a few awards for the reviewers, the YouTube reviewers of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And in so, he gave his opinions and his assessments, as well as any feedback that he deemed the content creators that he named could benefit from. So that is another video in and of itself. You can go on and just, I'm sure you've already seen it, but if you haven't, type in the search bar of YouTube Maurice Scott and YouTubers like Funky Dineva Awards or something. And that's another thing I don't know if I shared with you all. He actually named the awards the Funky Dineva Awards without giving any homage to Funky Dineva. You didn't really go into detail about his accolades, his attributes. And I felt that if somebody of their magnitude or their stature is going to, express their appreciation for the reviewers of the show, I think that that should have come with some type of, gift card or some type of gift, right? Maybe a cash app or something, because essentially we are the ones, not just the content creators, but the viewers. We're the ones that drive the ratings and keep them employed and keep them paid. So if you really want to show your appreciation, I would consider doing something like that and possibly leaving out, your criticism. I don't know. That's just my thought. But nonetheless, Funky Dineva got wind of it, of course, and he started to speak on it. But he was doing another review, and in that review, he talked about Melody Shari, excuse me. And he was basically not really just going in on Melody. She was a part of his review, but a lot of people feel some type of way because they seem to think that Funky came at Melody very hard. And if you know Funky Dineva, you understand his quirkiness, his what I like to call him, his Q-isms or his Funky Dineva isms. And so I truly don't think that he really, really meant any real harm with regard to what he said about Melody, because I really don't even know if he knows her for, like, personally. But some of you all seem to think that he has been paid off with the Scotts or by the Scotts, and he's ultimately rocking with them, and so he's shitting on Melody. And what he said verbatim was he does not F with Melody. Okay, he went on to say some other things, but I think that that particular part and how he said it and voiced it is what made a lot of people uncomfortable. And so, of course, they took to their social media accounts and they are not letting Funky Dineva live that down. And so, I was on YouTube and I came across a YouTube video. Let me see if I can find it. Don't want to lose my footing. But anyway, it is by who is this by? It's called it's by the YouTuber What's Happening, and it says Funky Dineva insults Melody and says Kiki ain't S. She says she doesn't feel that it was a fair review, and she has the link to the video. I'm going to link that video in the description box below, but I wanted to share with you all what I responded to one of the commenters on this post. Now, I'm not going to name their name, but this is what they said. So, a man who claims to sleep with married men is talking about someone trying to destroy a marriage, in the words of Tisha. Boy, bye. Now, to that point, and I'm not coming to Funky Dineva's, rescue or his defense. I'm not, because right is right and wrong is wrong. I do not condone any man or any woman any child, any baby, any creature, just to be disrespectful or to just speak out of turn, especially when I don't think that you know someone and you only know of them because of a show, and possibly, you might find things out by word of mouth. And by word of mouth, I mean possibly the Scots, okay? So I responded to that commenter and I said, I'm not coming to disagree, and I mean this with all due respect. I do think the difference between him sleeping with the married woman's husband is that the wife did not mind Funky and her husband being together. She even wanted Funky Dineva. Melody, on the other hand, did not want to share her husband with Ariane or any other woman, and I stand with her in that regard. I think what a lot of people are overlooking is that Melody brought this on herself. If they in fact agreed not to bring up Martell's indiscretions on the show and they were moving forward, why flip the script after he or after her and Martell came to that agreement? I speak for myself in saying that this is why I cannot fully connect with Melody. A lot of what has happened was a snowball effect of what she did. I do empathize with her and don't condone anyone speaking ill of anyone, especially not a male to a female. I also think that he, in parentheses, Funky, may have some sort of allegiance with the Scots, because during the first part of this season, we saw him sit down with Tisha and Marceau and they were quite chummy. And I'm an avid FD watcher, so I was like, well, when did this happen? Because he hadn't been feeling the Scots. But all in all, I agree. The internet is definitely eating him up for his comments. They were in poor taste, in my opinion, and I added a heart just to, respectfully be a respectful commenter. And so, yeah, so all of what I said is really why I feel like a lot of people, including myself, cannot fully connect with Melody, because we heard murmurings, a few years ago that there was an agreement made that she and Martell would not bring up his infidelities and, indiscretions, and that they were going to move forward. And we kind of see that play out in the very early episodes of season 1 of Love and Marriage Huntsville. By all accounts, Melody and Martell were presented to us on a silver platter as the it couple, the couple of the future, the couple that is going to take the city of Huntsville, Alabama to the next level, okay? And they, in turn, shared their success and their platform with their friends. And so they wanted to make it a big thing about how you can be successful, young, beautiful, intelligent, talented, and all of those things and have it all, okay? So where things started getting shaky was at I think it was maybe the last episode of the season, and Melody, they were all sitting at the table. I don't know if they were in Kimmy and Maurice's house or they were at someone's house. But they were all seated having dinner, and then the conversation comes up about respectful cheating. You all go back to that episode and make sure you take note of everyone's faces. It's given, well, damn, I didn't know she was gonna talk about this, because isn't that what you said you weren't gonna talk about? And it's kind of like, well, damn, if she's sitting up here talking about her husband, she probably finna bring up the fact that Maurice be out till 4 o'clock in the morning. All these other things that we have now discovered are true from what we heard on part 1 of season 5's reunion of Love and Marriage Huntsville. They sat down with Carlos King. Now part 1 was given very much boring, but we did get some gems and tidbits in that, from that special, or the first part, I should say. But in that, it was revealed to us that, of course, yes, they did sit down together and there were agreements made that they would not discuss certain things on the show. Martell and Melody's was their infidelities. Maurice and Kimmy's was the fact that she didn't want anyone to know that he stays out past 4 a.m. Okay, Kimmy, well, whatever. This ain't about Kimmy and Maurice, so I'm not even about to go there with them, but y'all can see where I'm going. So my train of thought is this. Melody, if that is the case, is why then, and I understand and I fully get that everybody, every woman has, or every man, every child has the right to change their mind. However, things don't work like that when you're in a union or in a marriage, right? If you and your husband and your spouse have agreed that this is what it is that you all are going to do it. Maybe she thought that doing so would bring ratings to the show, and ratings to the show it did, but it also brought hell. It wreaked havoc on her marriage, and it ultimately attributed to the demise of the show, or not the show, but to the demise of their relationship. And I only say that because If they agreed to stay together and they worked together prior to the filming of the show, why not continue to put that, keep that same energy? The only way that I could see her flipping the script is if Martell ass was out there just doing what Martell does. And I'm a firm believer. I've never met the man, but just judging on his character, I think that that could be why. And if that is the case, then Melody Shari, I do not fault you at all. But from a viewer standpoint, that is what it seems like. So if we're looking at the overall picture, we're not starting in the middle. We're not taking bits and pieces of the story. We're starting at the very top and seeing how all of this came to be. Now, I don't want you all to take my words and think that I'm not team male, because it's quite funny. I was definitely not team male in the beginning, and I was more so leaning on the side of Tisha because of not because of anything that we're seeing now, but because of the way that Marcel was treating her. She seemed to be mild, meek, and not really all there. She kind of gave me the vibe that you get from Derek Jackson's ex-wife. And so I felt for her in that moment. And of course, with what we knew about Melody, or what I knew about Melody and my interpretation of how things were going on the show, I was not really feeling her. However, it was not until this season, okay, that things started to shift for me when it comes to Tisha and Melody. So on the one hand, I was more so team Tisha, and I wasn't in favor of Melody. But it's changed. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say that I'm a diehard male fan, because that's not the case. The way that she sits up and portrays and acts, I just can't get with it sometimes. And the same for Kimmy, and as well as Tisha. I think all the women, including the men on the show, have a lot to work on, as far as just making sure that they're recovering from whatever, just, I don't even know what you want to call it, like whatever drama, whatever mess this show has brought about. Because I know that initially this is not the vision that any of them had for this show. This was not, anything that they had envisioned for their relationships, their businesses, their friendships. And so I just feel like, overall, and I know we're really are supposed to just be talking about Melody and what Funky Dineva had to say, but this kind of just turned into something else. But I really hope that they can get it together. I saw, I'm lying, I heard, I think on YouTube, some commentary about Carlos King. And I think y'all already know where I'm going with this. And if you don't, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. So, the person says that basically everything Carlos King touches, it crumbles. And so, I'm like, well, I've had that thought before, but I was hoping like hell this would not be the case for Love and Marriage Huntsville, simply because we are 5 seasons in, right? This is not a show that seems to be lacking or going away. He had R&B Divas, gone, okay, the Encore, gone, Real Housewives of Atlanta. He definitely did do his thing on there. However, Bravo was a bigger machine. They were not going to allow his pettiness or his lack of professionalism at that point in time, and the things that he allegedly did with Phaedra and Candy, allegedly, they did not stop that. So they in turn just let him go, and he, of course, spread his wings and founded and started his own production company. And so kudos to Carlos King for doing that. However, I kind of agree with the video, or the audio that I heard, because I do think that a lot of the things that he does touch, he doesn't necessarily have a Midas touch. They don't always turn to gold. They turn to dust. Okay, and so I don't know. I really, really do want the I can't even talk right now. The trajectory of Love and Marriage Huntsville to turn around. Child, I just don't even know, Lord. But it does seem like Melody is definitely winning. And what I will say is this, okay? Touch not God's anointed, okay? You never know the calling that God has on somebody's life, right? You never know that He might be setting you or anybody else up for what you might perceive as a detrimental situation, but in a nutshell, it's not. So that's all that I have to say about that. Y'all drop down in the comments and share with me what you all think about what Funky Dineva had to say about Melody. Also, what do you think about the entire situation, about Love and Marriage Huntsville from beginning to end? Do you think that it was wrong of Melody to flip the script? You know, if she and Martell did in fact have that agreement that they were moving on and we're not going to be talking about his transgressions on the show. And if you don't agree, or if you do, let me know whether or not you think that it was, or you can get behind her for flipping the script if Martell was not letting his foot off of Ariane's neck. And we all know that that wasn't the case. So for me, I'm 10 hands down, I'm Team Melody. And I understand how she is feeling at this moment. When you got people coming at you left and right, and you're trying to, you know, maneuver through those spaces. You're trying to continue to elevate, take care of your children, take care of your home, as well as take care of yourself. Find love, healing, all of that. And so I empathize with her because to be stuck in a situation like that, you know what I'm saying? Um, where everything else in your life seems to be on the up and up, but you continuously have to be around and reminded of this moment of your, like, this period of time in your life. So I don't know. I pray for all parties involved, all cast members, and definitely Carlos King. So I'm signing off, y'all, until the next video. Bye.